Beep, 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 beep. Hello, how are we doing, good people? It's great to be speaking to you again, especially considering we have a Jester special. It's a Jester special every other day at the minute, isn't it? So much going on. So this is last chance to join the Warrior Teachers, by the way, and become a Jesterite, right? I'm going to do it. We're going to have our first Jesterite meeting shortly on Teams. Going to get a few peeps in the room. So we can have a conversation and then they can ask me a few questions about what's going on. So I'm quite interested to announce that now. So it's going to be a Jesterite meeting coming up. Details will be in your Jesterite threads. Okay, so I'll let you know about that. I'm very excited to meet some of you. So a very important report has come out today from the Women's Rights Network in regards to a police policy that was drawn up in 2021, in December of 2021. The National Police Chiefs Council approved a policy paper. Now, the women's groups have done work on this previously, Standing for Women, with Kelly J. Keane, Posy of the Parker. I was talking to a chap the other day who couldn't get her name right. Posy Parker. It was utterly ridiculous. What about that pokey posy nose woman? I was like, who do you mean? I knew what you meant. I just want to keep him going. Who do you mean, love? Who do you mean? Pasty pokey nose. They just kept saying ridiculous words. I said, do you mean Posy Parker? Yes, I do. Yeah, what was your problem with her? I can't remember now. So, come on. This is a report you need to read. Just to give you a brief overview. So, Standing for Women addressed this in 2021, and now the Women's Rights Network have produced a full report to go alongside the work of Standing for Women and to bring attention again to this absolutely outrageous national scandal in which what the police force have done is they've sanctified sexual assault as okay. Yes, you heard it right. You heard it correct. I'm not kidding. That's what they've done. So they're asking Standing for Women and Women's Rights Network, in this particular report, the Women's Rights Network are saying, withdraw this flawed and dangerous policy. This approved policy, already rolled out by many forces, allows police officers to sexually assault women and girls and calls it hate and discrimination if we object. So in December 21, the National Police Chiefs Council, that's the NPCC, the National Police Council, NPCC, approved a policy paper proposing that officers be permitted to strip and even intimately search suspects of the opposite sex if the officer self-identified as the same gender as the person being searched. A little pause there, just for you to do the equations you have to do in your head when this nonsense comes up. Yes, what they're saying is men LARPing as women can search women. Got it? Okay, got it? That's why it's serious. Okay, that's why it's really, really serious. The policy, we continue with the report from the Women's Rights Network, which has been accepted and is now being implemented by the majority of police forces across the country, does not refer to the protected characteristic of sex. Now, that those that don't know, the Equality Act in the UK covers the protected characteristic of sex. Gender is not covered by the Equality Act. The gender recognition process is. So here the police are saying, no, we're not having that. We'll do gender identity. They're saying that instead of the protected characteristic of sex, it proposes that self-identified gender is used in place of sex, in contravention of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984, which is PACE. PACE states that searches involving the removal of more than outer clothing are required to be conducted by, and only in the presence of, an officer or staff member of the same sex and out of public view. Right, so the Women's Rights Network calls on the National Police Chiefs Council to withdraw this flawed and dangerous policy. The policy paper made it clear that anyone who objects to being searched by a member of the opposite sex and any officer refusing to carry out such a search may be the subject of a hate crime or a non-crime hate incident if this is based on discriminatory views. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, I've dropped a line to Manchester Police because they've not decided whether to implement it yet, and I want to know where they are. So we'll see if anything happens with that. Yeah. So the policy paper makes that clear, that if you don't go with the flow and say that men are women and women are men, that they'll say that you're going to get a hate crime or a non-crime hate incident against you if it's based on discriminatory views. Really? What are these people playing at? So this is not a hypothetical situation. The Women's Rights Network continues. Many forces already have officers who identify as the opposite sex, including West Midlands, where 12 officers identified as the opposite sex when asked in February 2023. LARPing men. LARPing men in dresses. What's going on? Heather Binning, who is the, as you know, the founder of the Women's Rights Network, or as you don't know, I don't know why I said that. Heather, are you that well known? The power to search is fundamental, says Heather. Fundamental. It involves a legalised personal assault, particularly when this involves a strip or intimate search. Ooh. As a society, we accept that when this is carried out lawfully, it is a reasonable price to pay to ensure safety and lawful protection. However, these actions can only be carried out under the principle of policing with consent if they are both reasonable and lawful. This is not reasonable or lawful, and we do not consent. It is state-sanctioned sexual assault, and it must not be tolerated, right? So that's the founder, Heather Binning. Now, what we've got here is the link on the website, which I'll put in the doobries for you, as I normally do, will contain the link to this page where you can download the report and have a look for yourself. It's a well-produced report. And let's get the message out there. This has to change. What on earth is going on with the government? This is not like, oh, I'll deal with that next week. This is, get me the head of the police on the phone. Get me that, right. You need to get this message out there now. I don't care if you have to make a YouTube video. You're going to get this message out there now that they are going to stop doing this immediately. That this policy will be revoked. That this policy will be destroyed. It will never be seen again. And tell them from me while I'm on the phone, if they mention gender in any of their documentation again, I want to talk to them. Why is it so complicated? I'm sure that Standing for Women and the Women's Rights Network and Posey Parker, who have already done work in this arena, would also like that question answered. Find your police force. Write to your police force. Ask them if they're playing this game. Ask them if this report is true, right? Is this what you're doing? Okay? I'm not saying the report's false. I'm saying you use it. So, is this true? Write to your head of your police force. Write to your MPs. Doesn't matter who they are. Write to your MP and write to the head of your police force. Don't sit around. Do it now. You've got nothing to lose. Take you half an hour, right? Find their email. Get the email. Send the email. Not difficult, right? Who is your local police force? Who runs your local police force? If you have a local mayor, message the local mayor. This needs to end, and it needs to end now. 2021 Standing for Women started talking about this when they first implemented it. Women's Rights Network have now produced something to help with the fight, but it's 2 years down the road. Where are the politicians? Where is our government? Where are those that would protect women, and to a degree, men, from this over sanctifying of sexual assault? Men don't care, really. Men just do. Right, yeah, it's me, you know, it's just, but women. You got some LARPing bloke in a dress and he's doing an intimate search on a woman. Tell me in the doobries, you down with that? Because I certainly am not. It's time for action on this, folks. Write to your MP, write to your chief of police. Ring the police, ask them what they're doing. Do it. Power to the people. Other than that, my thanks to Women's Rights Network for producing this useful report, which can be used as an artefact by us, and also to Standing for Women and Kelly J, who raised the issue so strongly in 2021. Let's keep going. This still should not exist. We've not brought down this terrible policy. So please do share this video as widely as you can. Subscribe to listen to more of my wibblings, and let's get the message out there. Call your damn police force, write to them, whatever it may be, and your MP. Men in dresses, LARPing, searching vulnerable women. Women in prison are vulnerable, by the way. Right? Vulnerable women. Okay? State-sanctioned sexual assault. Don't let it happen. I'll see you later.